This section is on 7.4 partial fractions. So we're going to take a rational equation like this and we're going to go ahead and split it up into two parts and get a partial fractions for that. So what I need to do then is do a binomial factoring for the denominator. So then I have as x and an x right there. Multiplication of 15 is going to be 5 times 3. And then to get a negative 2 in the middle right there. So if I go negative 5 and positive 3 like that. Now let's just check it. So I have as x times x right there gives us x squared right there. This right here will be positive 3 right there. This is negative 5 right there. So if I add them together, that should give me negative 2x right there. If I have negative 5 times positive 3, should give us negative 15. Okay, so that works for the binomial factoring part of it. Okay, now let's go ahead and split it up to the two partial fractions. So I have as an a and a b, and then I'm going to have as a denominator. So using the binomial factoring that you just did, we're going to separate it into either a or b right here. So just to make sure everyone gets the same number, let's make sure underneath the a we put the smallest x value. So when I say x value, I'm taking each of these parentheses. If I set this parentheses equal to 0, I'm going to get positive 5. If I set this parentheses equal to 0, I'm going to get negative 3. So negative 3 obviously is smaller than this right here. So let's go ahead and put the smaller value over here. So we have then as x plus 3 over here, and we have as x minus 5. Okay? So now the next step is kind of like algebra. We're going to multiply across from each other right here, doing proportional right there. Alright? So I'm going to have as then a parentheses x minus 5 plus, and it's only plus because of this right here, so that's the reason why we're going to have a plus right there. Okay? And this is always a plus when we set it up for the first part. So then we have as b x plus 3, and we're going to set this equal to the numerator up here. So bring that numerator back down here. We have as 5x minus 1. Okay? So now from here, let's go ahead and distribute the a, distribute the b, and we'll do some splitting up and combining like terms as well. So I have now as ax minus 5a plus bx, right, plus 3b is equal to 5x minus 1. Okay? So now let's split this up. I want to have all the x's on one side right here, and we're going to have the numbers on the other side right here. So when I say x's, I'm taking this ax right there, I'm going to take the bx right there, and then the 5x. So we're going to have as ax plus bx is equal to 5, and then we'll separate on the other one the remaining part, which is the negative 5a, and then also 3b and negative 1. We'll put it on this side right here. So we have as negative 5a plus 3b is equal to negative 1. I'm going to continue on this side right here. Oops, I forgot an x right there. Okay, so I'm going to continue on right here and factor out an x. So we factor out an x. We have as a plus b is equal to 5x, right? So I'm going to divide both sides by x, and the reason why I want to do that is because I don't want the x's. I actually want to get rid of them. So that cancels out the x right here, that cancels out the x right here, so you're left with this a plus b is equal to 5. Okay, so I have an equation on this side, and I also have an equation on this side. So we learned from earlier in this chapter, this is going to be system of equations. So system equation says I can solve this by either using the elimination method, the substitution method, graphing, or the matrix method. So by looking at this problem right here, I think it's easy enough to do a substitution method. So I'm going to go ahead and use the substitution method in this one. So let's go ahead and have a by itself and bring the b over on the other side of the equal sign. So then I have as a is equal to 5 minus b. Okay? So I'm going to take this and I'm going to go ahead and substitute it into this part right there. So I have as now as negative 5 parentheses 5 minus b. Again, that's what I substituted in right now. Plus 3b is equal to negative 1. Okay, now from here I'm going to distribute the negative 5, so that gives me negative 25 plus 5b plus 3b is equal to negative 1. So we'll combine like terms right there. That's going to give us what, 8b is equal to, and then we'll bring the 25 over on the other side. So we're going to bring it over by adding it, so that's going to give me 24, right? So we divide both sides by 8, so b is equal to 3. Okay, again, we're not done with this problem because I need to put the b back into this equation again and try to figure out what a is. So a is equal to 5 minus, and we said 3, so a is equal to 2. Okay, so we found out what a is and we found out what b is, but those were the numerators of this partial fraction. So let's go ahead and put it back into this partial fraction. So again, we said a was 2, And the denominator was x plus 3, so we have as x plus 3 plus, and the b right there was 3, so we put it as 3 up here, and the denominator is x minus 5, okay? So that becomes basically the partial fraction separation right there. Okay, let's try some more of these homework problems.